In this tutorial, what we're going to do is actually make a quick pumpkin, and I'm going to show you the easiest way I've found to actually add a face into my pumpkin. So let's just delete this, and what we're going to do is just add in a mesh, and the mesh we're going to add is a UV sphere because that's the closest thing I've got that's actually shaped like a pumpkin. And if we go into edit mode by pressing the tab key, we're going to select the top point and the bottom point. If you've not already got it selected, you've got point, line and face select there. So I'm just going to press the X key and delete vertices, which will put a hole in the bottom and vertices on the top, just like that. Now what I'm going to do is just look from the top, press the Shift and Alt key down, and I'm just going to select, just do that again. Press the Shift and Alt key, and going on the line in between, I'm just going to select these, and I'm going to select these. Just like that. And then what we'll do is we'll just go into proportional editing and scale these up, reducing the influence ring just to get our pumpkin shape. So we've got our pumpkin shape, and I'm just going to go online, select this bottom face, and G and Z, increasing my influence ring so I can get my pumpkin shape. Same with the top. There we go. And G and Z just to actually get that kind of shape. And if you change your influence ring, you get that kind of shape. So I've made my pumpkin. Look from the front, you can see it's pretty much pumpkin shaped. I'm just going to select this top point up here, and then I'm going to select checkered deselect, but on the point. So just select the ring by pressing the Alt key down, checkered deselect, and I'm just going to scale these down just like this, just to get that kind of shape, which of course will be the stem coming out the top. Reselect the ring, and E and S just to scale this down, G and Z to get that kind of shape, E and S just to scale it, G and Z, I'm just getting that kind of shape, E and Z, scale it down, and then I'm just going to E and S twice, and then F3 to grid fill, just to actually finish off the shape of my pumpkin. Now I'm going to separate the top off. So I'm just going to select this central point here. Select the central point. And then take proportional editing off. I'm just going to grow my selection until it covers all those points there. And P, which actually separates the stem off by selection. That's just in case I want to give that a different colour right at the end. Press the tab key to come back out of edit mode, and I'm just going to actually subdivide the actual pumpkin itself by going on the wrench and add a modifier, subdivide surface, just to get that nice kind of shape. So we've got our pumpkin. Let's just give it a colour just to start with. I'm going to make it this orange colour, and if we go into here we can see the orange colour, and select this, draw it slightly, and G and Z just to actually take it into the other mesh, just like that. And I'll give this another colour, and I'll make this the same orange, but make it a greeny colour, just like that. And then what we can do is we can leave it like that. So shade smooth, I've got two shade smooth. You've got shade auto smooth and shade smooth. So I'm going to use shade smooth on there just to actually get this kind of pumpkin shape. And on the bottom, we've still got a hole, so I'm just going to fill this in now. So select your pumpkin, press the tab key, select the points here, E and S, E and S, and F3 to grid fill. Because one, it's on the bottom, so it just doesn't need to actually have that much detail. So we've actually made our quick pumpkin. Now let's make the face. Control Z will undo if you actually drag something off into the wrong place. So we got our pumpkin and we've got our stem there, and what I can do now is select both and just hide them. I'm going to actually make my face. So what I'm going to do is add in a black and white image. Right, the black areas are the cutout, and of course the white areas are the piece of paper. So let's just go into your image, and what we do is we take our image. So I'm just going to actually find it on my computer just now. So I found it on my computer, and the easiest way to get the image into Blender is just to actually grab it like so, and it's just a JPEG image, and just drag it into your scene. So I've dragged it into my scene. I'm just going to centralize it just by moving it up into the center, just like that. And of course we can't see it yet, so I'm just going to rotate it on the X by 90 just to make it appear just like that. So we've got our image there, but it's not actually turned into something that we can actually use to cut out of our pumpkin. So I'm just going to show you this quick tip. So what we do is actually go into Object, go to Convert, and we're going to do Trace Image to Grease Pencil, just like that, and press OK. Right, as you can see, you've got your grease pencil there, and you've got an empty image. So just select your empty and X to delete the original image you dragged in, and it leaves you with this grease pencil shape, which is what we need to actually cut out our face inside our pumpkin. So let's just do this. So we go to Object again, Convert, and we're going to convert this to a mesh. So as you can see, we've now got our face. Press the Tab key to go into Edit mode. Now the thing about this, each shape has got to be individual. You can't have a shape inside a shape, because it just really doesn't work for this process. So just keep your things separate, which you would if you were actually cutting them out of your pumpkin anyway. Hold the Alt key down and select any paint point on the face, and then fill. Same on the eye. Alt, select, fill. And we got the scar under the eye, or the bag, and we're going to fill that up as well. And fill again, and we just fill in all these by pressing the F key. So you've got all those. So with them all selected, press the A key to select all. Extrude along the Y, just like that, and we've made our simple face to be cut out of our pumpkin. So Alt H to make our pumpkin reappear, and as you can see, our face is much too large, so I'm just going to scale this down, and G and Y just to move it so it intersects our pumpkin. Little bit small now, so I'm just going to scale this up. So select your face, scale it up until it's about the right size, just like that. So we've got our face and we've got our pumpkin, and then we're just going to spanner a wrench. We're going to add a thing called the Boolean. In fact, what we'll do for the pumpkin, we're just going to apply the subdivisions first, and then with our pumpkin selected, add Boolean. So what we want to do is actually do difference, and we're going to select our face, and you should see the face object appear in there, which of course in this case is the grease pencil object. So now it's actually appeared in there. Select float, and then simply what we're going to do is apply this. So we've applied that to our pumpkin. So if we hide our grease pencil, we've got our face cut out of there. And to be honest, we don't actually need our grease pencil anymore. So X and delete. So we've got our cool looking face cut out of our pumpkin. So simply select the pumpkin, press the Tab key to go into Edit mode, and select the back face of the eye, and X and vertices. And what we're doing is we're getting rid X vertices, all of the shapes. So we've got to select the actual flat spot on the back of our cutouts and delete all vertices. Zoom in a bit just so it's easier to see things. And what else have we got left? We've got this scar here, X vertices, and just make sure that you've cut them all out. And I think I have. Oh no, I forgot the other scar on the other side. So just select the back face and X and delete vertices. So we've already got our pumpkin. But what we're going to do now is go into the wrench, add in a solidify modifier. So press the S and then the O to get solidify. So we've got solidify, and then we can increase the actual thickness of our pumpkin. Now you've noticed here that it looks pretty terrible, and there is a quick solution to actually fix this poor looking geometry. And the quick fix is to right click and shade auto smooth, which then adds into your actual thing the smooth by angle, and this of course will make your pumpkin look very clean. And then to simply finish it off, we just add in a mesh. We're just going to add a plane. There's always a ground plane in your scene, and it's up to you. Once you've got the actual basic pumpkin, then you actually start colouring things in. Maybe add a light into your centre of your pumpkin. In this case I'm adding just a simple point light. If we go into rendered mode, as you can see, we've got a point light on the inside, and the brightness of our light will determine how bright or dark things look. And of course you can change the colour just to make it look that little bit more evil. And there you have it. Simply and easily we've made a pumpkin. Let's move the ground plane back up. And then to add a bit of realism to your stem, what you can do is go into here, Control R, add a loop cut, and just move it over to one side just to add some distortion to it, or scale it down and just add different shapes to this. And it's up to you, but I usually add at least one in subdivision modifier just to actually make it look like that. So that's how you make a quick pumpkin. And if you want, you can add yourself a image in, which is done quite easily, which I might do now, just to actually add a more realistic texture to my pumpkin. So what I'm going to do is go on the N key up here, go into the item, just make sure the scale is good, and then I'm just going to flatten my pumpkin down to a flat shape, because I just want to add a bit more realistic texture. So I'm just going to actually go into there, go into image texture. With my pumpkin selected, I'm just going to tab mode. I'm just going to press the A key, and I'm going to do project from view, which will allow me to do a certain thing. So what we've done here now is we've gone onto image texture. I'll just take that back off so you can see what I'm doing. So minus new, add in image texture, and I'm just going to show you something. G, my workspace, pumpkin, and as you can see here I've got a picture of a pumpkin, and we can simply just add this in to our UV edit. So I can open this, find my pumpkin image like that. Then the pumpkin image is then attached to the pumpkin itself. So go into UV editing, make sure that you've got your pumpkin picture selected like that. Look from the 7 key, U, project from view, select your pumpkin, scale it up like that, press the tab key, and then when I go back into N and put this to normal, just like that, and go into render mode, as you can see we've now added our simple pumpkin texture onto our model. But you might not want to be that complicated and just keep it orange. It's entirely up to you. Just go back into layout because it's a little bit clearer. But as you can see, I've added a simple texture and just put it onto our pumpkin. Now you've got to imagine that normally when you see pumpkins they're in low light, so you don't have to be that detailed with things because they're often dark and you're just emphasizing the actual light on their eyes. And I've made a candle in the past, and you could even add a candle image into your scene just so it looks that little bit more real. Hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Please subscribe to my channel, and I've done a little bit of a faux pas there, just needed to centralize that just like that, just so it looks that little bit more real. And of course you can use the image that you've got there on your stem as well. Just go like that to go into selection, to go into selection, you project from view, because we've now attached the pumpkin texture to that as well. UV editing, and what we can do is actually just move this to there, like that. Press the tab key to come back out of edit mode, back into layout, and we've simply added the texture to our stem as well. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you found this useful, and join me again on the next tutorial. But I've made the pumpkins quite a few times, and there's several ways you can make a pumpkin, and they're all featured with different levels of detail on my channel. So have a look, have a browse, because I've made them all sorts of different ways. Bye for now.